Hey, welcome to the Geek Retreat SpoilerCast, episode 8. This week, we are spoiling Mulan.
Do you know why the Phoenix sits on the right hand of the Emperor? She is his guardian, his protector. That she's both beautiful and strong. Your job is to bring honor to the family. Do you think you can do that?
Citizens, we are under attack from northern invaders.
Their leader calls himself Ori Khan.
Fights alongside a witch.
No survivors. By edict of His Imperial Majesty, every family must contribute one man to fight.
Have you no son?
I am blessed with 2 daughters. I will fight.
We must be strong. This time it will not return. Loyal, brave, and true. It is my duty to protect my family.
Ancestors, please protect her.
What is your name, soldier?
Hua Jun, Commander, son of Hua Zhou.
We're going to make men out of every single one of you.
Close the gate!
The spirit is evident, but something holds you back.
When they find out who you are, they will show you no mercy. I'm Hua Mulan. I will bring honor to us all.
Episode 8 of the Geek Retreat SpoilerCast. I'm your host, Steven. That there's Mick, and that there is Jason.
I will bring honor to us all.
Yes, you will. All right. And this is a spoiler cast. We're going to have heavy spoilers for the rest of this episode. So stick around if you want to hear it. If you haven't, pause now, go watch the movie, and then come back and listen to our take on it. So, like I said, we are watching, we're spoiling Mulan, the new live action Mulan. Disney finally released it, and we have watched it, and we have opinions.
We do, and we're going to share them.
We're going to share them.
Thank you, Mom, for letting me watch it.
Yeah. So there's a lot of opinions about this movie, and I'm really excited to see what you guys thought. And I just want to kick it right off with like first impressions and all that good stuff. Where do you guys want? What do you want to? Who wants to go? Who wants to go first?
Okay, I'll go.
Okay, Jason,
So,
go first.
My first initial take on this, first initial reaction, I think overall, I think this is a good live action remake. I think that a lot of things that were wrong with previous live action movies were that they either went in and changed a bunch of stuff and then it was like completely a different movie almost, and then other ones that were just like scene for scene, clip for clip, the same movie, and then it's like, so you're either on one spectrum or the other, and I think this one had a good balance of the both. They had good paid homages to the animated, as well as added some of their own, and I think they did it very well. I think the movie itself, how they portrayed everything, how they went throughout their story was pretty good. But yeah, just overall, that's my first initial reaction. I think that's a good live action remake done well. So
Yeah. Mick, what do you think?
Yeah, I totally agree with Jason. I really did like it. I wanted to see Mushu, man. And I wanted to see more from. I did want to see more from the the three following characters.
Yeah,
like Poe and
and Ping and
well, Ping was supposed to be her.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
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 But anyways, I wish I could have saw more of them three.
Right.
But other than that, it was a good story. That fighting was awesome in there. Brought me back to the Kung Fu era.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But really, I don't have any gripes. I really enjoyed the movie. I just wish, I saw a little bit more of the Disney come out of it, just because Mulan is probably one of my favorite Disney movies of all time.
Right.
So.
I'm glad you touched on that, because I do want to talk about that once we start to analyze it further.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. So my initial reaction, I thought it was a great movie. I honestly did. This might actually be my favorite remake that Disney has done so far. Because we've had Beauty and the Beast, we've had Aladdin, Lady and the Tramp, which is non-existent, and The Lion King, and this one was head and shoulders above the other ones to me. I haven't even with The Lion King, I haven't even sat through in one sitting to watch that whole movie yet, the remake, because it's just scene for scene, and I didn't like that. I like that they went back to the original story, or kind of a mixture of. I'll get into that in a little bit, but it's not quite the original story of like the lore, but it's not the Mulan that we know, the animated Mulan that we know. The cinematography was great, the action was great, and I was just okay with everything. I was okay that there was no Mushu. I was okay that they introduced a new character. I was fine with it. I liked everything they did with it, and I don't get why there's so much backlash against this movie. I don't see the reviews for it. I've looked on Reddit and IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes, and like people are scathing at this movie. They think it's really bad, and everybody I've talked to has been like, "It's a great movie. It's perfectly fine." So my initial reaction was I really, really liked it.
It was nice to see Asian people in there.
Yeah, and it wasn't like, yeah.
What do you mean by it? Just like they stayed
like it was like culturally
yeah,
sound, you know what I mean?
Appropriate.
Yeah.
Oh, and they picked Mowgli. Remember the original Jungle Book guy?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
As the Khan.
What? I never saw that Jungle. Oh, there was the Jungle Book remake.
Yeah.
I never saw Jungle Book remake.
The guy that played Mowgli, that's the same guy that played the Khan in this movie.
Really?
Yeah. Totally
missed that.
You didn't?
Okay.
That's him. He's just old.
I never saw the other one. Yeah. So I want to talk about like the changes a little bit. I did some research about. So I guess there's like 3 separate fairy tales in the like Chinese lore about who Mulan was. Like there's one from super long ago, one from a couple centuries ago, and then, well, I guess 2, and then the Mulan, the animated Mulan that we got. So this one's a good blend of all 3 of those.
Okay.
But I'm the animated version of Mulan is so far from what actually happened in the story of Mulan, from what I've gotten from the research I did. And I like the eagle was, the lady was a witch.
Hawk.
The hawk, yeah, eagle, hawk. The hawk was a witch, and she kind of like helped that side, and she had a cool kind of arc. And but like she didn't change her hair, she didn't like cut her hair. That's what people were mad about. Like Mulan didn't cut her hair. It's like petty stuff that there was no real need for it to change.
Well, men used to have long hair. They just kept it in top knots.
They kept it in top knot, yeah. But I felt like the changes were fine. I didn't feel like they were unwarranted or anything like that.
Definitely fitting for the story. I think it helped the story flow. So, and that's kind of like one of the things I thought they did well in there. And they did all that while still paying homages to the old ones. Like even though like it didn't have the songs in there, like people would speak the lyrics to the songs, like they would be saying some of the stuff that were in the songs at the time that they should be singing it and everything like that. So a lot of other stuff, the comb, the teapot scene, where she's trying to be a lady. They did a lot of stuff that still led you back and gave you that nostalgia from the animated. So yeah, they did all the new stuff that you're talking about, Steven, and then they did that. I think they did well.
I would have liked to see
Yeah.
some more of the music that you found in the animated stuff. Like they hinted, like you like when they like screen transitions or whatever,
Yeah.
they'll hint like just a little bit of the
I
melody of the songs that were in the animated version of it, which I wish they kind of bumped it up. I mean, every other remake they made, they did.
Yeah, I feel like though with the other remakes, they kind of go right into it with the song. Like most Disney movies open with like a big song. And I was thinking of like Beauty and the Beast. So in that one, like the opening scene is Belle walking through the town singing her song. And they waited too long. And then the first time I actually realized they were had one of the songs in the background was completely after the matchmakers scene and all that stuff. It was when she was like traveling to it was when she was traveling to the camp that she was supposed to go to meet at, and it had that like Who Is That Girl in the Mirror, that song playing, and I was like, oh man, they're not doing the music. And I felt like if they would have put the music in, it would have distracted me from it, would have felt like out of place.
Right.
Definitely how they went about doing this movie, the to make it a musical would have definitely taken it out of this element, you know. Especially like you mentioned before, make bring the kung fu martial arts style Eastern movie back, you know.
Yeah.
And it was with that they were going along those lines, and yeah, I think if they started singing and stuff, it would probably throw that out, throw that off.
Well, I don't mean like.
But because of that, though, I do kind of think though that without that, it takes it away from feeling like a Disney movie, though.
Right. It's totally not a traditional Disney movie.
Yeah.
They actually stepped out of the realm of what they usually do, which is kind of exciting.
I liked that. I liked that it didn't feel like a carbon copy of a Disney movie. And that's what I think that's where all of these remakes have fallen flat, is like, oh, they're trying way too hard to be like their predecessor. You know what I mean? Aladdin had an unfair bias because they didn't have Robin Williams to do the genie. And I feel like nobody could ever fill the shoes of that. But like The Lion King, I didn't like The Lion King because it was like scene for scene, line for line of The Lion King. I was like, I could just go watch the animated version that I like way better than this like other animated version that I'm watching right now. But I enjoyed. It felt like I was watching a new movie, but it was familiar. And we've talked about it multiple times in like video games when they try new things and it works out. I felt like this worked out because it felt new. And there was a point where like I sat down and like, well, I know what's going to happen in this movie, right? You like get it. You're like, I've seen this movie a million times. I know what I'm getting myself into. But then it changed where it was like, oh, wait, hold on. I don't know this quite as well as I thought I did. And I enjoyed that. I enjoyed the wacky Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon stuff where they like run up the wall in the first fight. And I was like, okay, this is way different. Like, let's go with it. And I felt like they pulled it out just fine.
So just to kind of reiterate a little bit, so yeah, and definitely I agree that the way they did it without the Disney feel, I think it worked for me. But I guess I can see other people's gripes.
Yeah.
Who are Disney fans, who are Disney princess fans, who feel that because there's certain things that you look for in these type of movies. You're looking for that Disney magic. You're looking for that Disney fairy tale, and then your Disney princess, you know? Mm-hmm. And you don't get any of that with this. And so definitely, you watch it, it's a good movie, but it just doesn't give you that Disney feel. And I can see that can be a negative for somebody. And I also don't think that Mulan herself was the strongest princess that they've chosen thus far.
Well, she isn't a princess.
Well, I'm princess, you know. Cause
yeah.
When you talk about Disney
She's
princesses, they mention Mulan, but yeah.
So do you feel like she didn't live up to the Mulan that was in the animated version that we all like?
I'm not saying that 'cause I'm not comparing the two, but what I am saying is that I think she's in her element when she's in combat and she's in her martial arts style. She's obviously well equipped to play that, to do that portion.
Right.
But there are certain portions she did well, like with emotional scenes and tough scenes. At some points I think she did very well on those, but at some points I could see I was like, not quite for me. Even at the end when she's trying to catch the witch when she's falling and she goes up the reach to try to catch her and it just looked all awkward and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think performance-wise, I mean,
Gotcha.
in comparison to the other princesses that we've had thus far in the live actions, I don't think she is measuring up in the top three for me. How many are there? Are there 5?
Okay.
Anyway, but
Well, no, I mean there's 5 movies, but I think that's only the third princess we've got. Oh, they did a Cinderella
we got
remake
Cinderella.
too,
Yeah,
huh?
we got Cinderella.
I've
Belle,
actually haven't seen that one.
um,
Cinderella, Belle, Mulan,
Mulan.
and Jasmine from
Did we get it, Jess?
from the Aladdin.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I was thinking Esmeralda.
So that's another thing I want to talk about, but I want to get more into like the movie first. Well, it's still movie related, but I'll talk about it at the end. It's one of my gripes. So this is a question I've never asked on the show, but what was your favorite scene? Because I have a favorite scene.
What's my favorite scene? I don't know. You know me. I don't get all glossy and Google-eyed over action. You know, I love it. But
Yeah.
I thought one of there's a couple of touching scenes with the father in there, and I kind of liked when the guy came in and he's recruiting people, and the father walks up there and he's like, you know, he obviously is not in good condition to fight, but he's still going up there. He's like, my duty is to do this, so I'm going up here. And then the guy was like, do you not have any sons? And instead of saying, no, I don't have any sons, he says, I'm blessed with 2 daughters.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that spot right there. And then, of course, he falls, and there's a shame, and the mom's like, you're going to embarrass him more if you run up to him.
More.
So that I kind of liked, and I kind of liked the couple of the heartfelt one-on-ones that he had with Mulan, just trying to encourage her.
Yeah.
In the earlier stages of the movie, so I kind of like those kind of.
Yeah, I definitely love the father-daughter, being a dad of a daughter. It's like they've hit really close to home.
Yeah.
Just those moments of like he wants to see her thrive, but understands there's a culture that she's got to kind of follow. So breaking the mold of that was really nice, and you didn't get that in the original, in the animated.
Right.
There was kind of like the father always seemed harsh and against everything that she was doing, and he kind of like was endeared. It was endearing for him to see her being like crazy and kind of rambunctious, different from everybody else.
Right.
But so it was my favorite scene because of the camera shot they used, and it's at the very end when they're fighting, and she's fighting what's his name in the movie? It's Bori Khan.
Oh yeah.
And they're in the scaffolding, and she flips. She does like a backflip up onto the next level, and instead of watching her flip, the camera pans the whole rotation.
Right.
It was like, that was so cool. That was like, remember the Curse trailer? It had it like made me think of the Curse trailer.
Don't bring it.
Because it had that like the camera did the turning, the camera did the movement, not the person. And that was a really good like fight scene to me. I felt like it was really good, and you know, it was a great like you know, we talk about arcs and how some stories fall short of arcs. I felt it was a really good redemption arc where she got to use her full power to help save the emperor and all that. And so that was my favorite scene.
Which, by the way, it's something that kind of was bothering me, and I could be wrong though, because Jet Li was the emperor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it didn't sound like Jet Li. Did they dub over Jet Li's voice?
It kind of looked like it, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, because his voice is a little bit more. It's not as deep. I think they dubbed over his voice, definitely. That's one thing I did notice.
They just put like a filter on it to like
maybe
or something.
Maybe that's it. Because I was listening, because it took me a while to realize that was Jet Li, and I was like, "Really, that's Jet Li?" I was like, why didn't I catch it from the sound of his voice?
Like, I had no idea that was Jet Li until you just mentioned it.
Yes, see?
Yeah, because his voice is a little bit more high pitched.
Yeah,
and in the movie, it's real deep. I don't know if his voice changed over the years.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe they altered it. Maybe I don't
just
know.
because he's older now. Maybe, but maybe they altered it. But it didn't sound natural to me.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, no. So, what did you guys think about the no love relationship? No, like,
Loved it. Loved it. Worked
You
for
like
me.
that?
I always I think I mentioned this on this before, but I hate war with love in it. Like in the battlefield, you know what I mean?
Right.
And then like they had that moment with the guy, and I thought they were almost gonna do it, but they did a handshake instead, and then she kind of walked away. And I was like, I thought they were gonna go there, and then but they didn't. But I don't know. I'm kind of glad that they left it where they left it.
They did it enough so you could assume that that's what
something may come out of this.
Right.
No, I thought it was good. I like that. I don't know. I liked it. It's like you kind of like, oh well, that would have made sense if it happened, but it didn't. And like because I didn't realize he was going to be the guy, because he wasn't General or what's his General Shang or General Chan or in the movie.
I think
I forgot.
I don't know.
In the
Yang
animated.
or Shang,
yeah, it's not Aang. I know that. You just can't ever get it out of your head, can you? No. But like, the general was so much older in the live action one. I was like, there's no way they're doing a love arc between this general and, and her. But it was cool. I like that he encouraged her to use her chi more.
Yeah.
In that meeting, like he was like, you have a special power, you need to use it. And it was cool. Like, oh man, you get to see the full breadth of what she can do, not just.
So speaking of the chi, I'm glad you brought it up, because that was at first, and then when the movie was first starting, I was already kind of getting irritated because.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. What scene?
Yeah, she was when she was chasing the chicken and she was on the rooftops and she's doing all this fancy stuff already. I'm like, how does she know how to do all this stuff already? How is she? She's a little kid and she's great and wonderful already. And then because I don't know, maybe I just don't remember the animated movie that well, but I don't. Where this she in the?
No, in the animated movie, she was just as bad as everybody else in there. She trained.
Yeah,
she got good.
So she's gonna be this good and this great right off the bat as a little kid, and they're not even gonna train her to be good. And so I was like, what the heck are they doing?
I know
and then they started to explain that chi, and I was like, oh, okay, all right. I guess they're
when the dad was scared of her falling off the top of the roof, and she magically stuck a thing.
Right, yeah.
In the thing.
Seriously?
Really?
Come on.
I think they did I think they did a good job at like adjusting your expectation, because like when I first saw it, I was like, whoa, that's like really, that's a Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, like camera, like not camera work, but wire work. You know what I mean? Like very like the tippy toe running on the top.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow. I was like, okay, I guess we're going this way. And then they said the chi, and I'm like, okay, I can buy into it. But then they did some really cool stuff with it, which was okay.
I didn't mind the wire work. It was just, they're trying too hard. It seemed like when I first started watching the movie, I was like, that's a little
it's definitely
over
a
the
shock
top
when you first see it.
Right.
Yeah, it's
definitely
over
was.
the top.
Yeah, that's definitely a good way to describe it.
And they kept it, but they keep it through the whole movie. So like they never, towards when it keeps happening, you feel like, oh, okay, like I'm acclimated to this now. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I think also just the moment was out of place too. So it just kind of felt weird. Like you're in a marketplace, it's a little girl, and it's like you're not even in battle, but you're doing this. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, but it just felt weird there. But it didn't feel weird anywhere else. And
they could have introduced it a different way. Like she could have done that crazy, like you know how when she's fighting the dude, and I don't know his name. She's fighting him in the barracks, like when they first are soldiers.
Yeah.
And she kicks the spear at him.
Yeah.
That could have been the realization, and then have her learn from there or something. And, you know, there could be.
I think it's fine. I think it ended up being fine because like I said, they explained it, but it was they kept it as a slow burn. They didn't let you know why she was able to do that for a while, because then it even got to the point where her mother and father were having an argument, and they're gonna and she said they're gonna call her a witch. You can't encourage
Right.
her. And I'm like, why would they
Right.
call her a witch? Just because she can. And but so like, again, but they didn't tell us yet that she has a chi, and then so we kind of learn that as we go along with the story. So, but I think they described it the way so it ended up being okay, but just in the moment, it just kind of hit me like this
Like,
feels weird. Yeah.
Weird. Okay, so how did we feel about the other witch, the hawk lady?
I thought she was dope. I loved her. I loved her up until the end. To be honest, I kind of she lost her luster to me.
Because she turned?
No, not because she turned. So she gradually declined as a, I guess you can call it a strong woman. You know, I know she wasn't strong. She was a broken woman that came from being alone and whatever. She's basically like, she's Mulan bad,
nobody
the bad corn side, you know? And so I get that. And so I get that's why she had a connection with Mulan, so she wanted to help her because she saw herself in her. But it's like, at first, when we were first meeting up with her, the Boricon was like, yeah, witch. And then she grabbed him by the throat and be like, don't call me witch. And then and the next time they're together, he calls her witch again. And she's like, okay, I see now, I'm your slave. And all of a sudden she's okay with it now. And I'm like,
but was that after?
Oh yeah, I remember that.
But wasn't that after like Mulan talked her into turning? So she was like allowing him to get I took it as she was allowing him to get complacent with her abilities, right? So like she knew that her and Mulan had the plan or whatever. They like, I saw it a week ago, so I'm like trying to remember.
This was prior, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, because they had Boricon had a meeting with like all like I guess the important tribe leaders or whatever, or clan leaders or whatever.
Yeah.
And she came in as the hawk, and so she was sitting in on the meeting while they were talking about her or whatever, and talking about what they're going to do. And she heard him say, "Oh yeah, well she does what I say. She's under me. She knows who the master is." And so then it was just her and him later on a cliffside, and so she was like, "Okay, so I guess I'm under you. I guess I listen to you. I guess I'm your slave now."
Well, it's because she once the Khan or whatever got in power, she was going to be treated as royalty, as equals with everybody else. You know what I mean? As a warrior, not a witch or whatever. And that's what he said when they're first together. Remember? And she's holding him by the neck or whatever.
Right.
And she was like, "You need me just as much as I need you." Right.
But then I was in agreement, and I think that he manipulated her in that moment, because then that conversation flipped. It's a total different conversation the second time around, and it's like he's definitely like, now I'm in control, and yes, you are beneath me, and that's what I got from it, and I think she went with it, and then it's like okay, that was a weak moment for you, and then. We had her later on towards the end where she's sitting on the throne, and I'm like, okay, yeah, cool. You want to take it for yourself now. I thought that's where it was going to go, where she's going to be like, she's going to turn on him because she wants to be the person now,
right?
You know? But no, it didn't go there, and I got a big gripe. This is one of the biggest gripe I have with this movie. I hate when movies do this. If you're going to do it, it has to be realistic, and they did not do it realistically. I hate when people jump in front of something for it to save somebody.
Oh yeah.
It bothers me, and it bothers me even more so with this because the witch jumped in front of an arrow to save Mulan. Where, first of all, she's standing right next to the person shooting the arrow. Why not just go, poof, you know?
Yeah.
And stop him from shooting the arrow. But no, you're gonna jump off, turn into a hawk, get in front of it, then get hit, and then jump in front of it. Where second, you're a witch and you've been using your sleeve thing to grab things all movie long.
Yep.
Why not do that and just grab the arrow or knock it away? Or I mean, so many things you could have done as a witch. You could have just used your power to push Mulan out of the way, push the arrow out of the way. So many things you could have done.
Yep.
Besides jumping in front of it, it was horribly done, and it
wasn't even
didn't look real.
That and the CG was just bad. Like it felt like really like bad.
Or she wanted to die.
I was like taken out of that moment because of how bad it was.
I could see that she wanted to die because she already followed the wrong path and she knew her path is done and she just wanted to end it. And so
like end it on a high note.
Yeah, so Mulan could take the path that she wished she would have took.
That's great. That's wonderful. That sounds beautiful when you say it. Yeah. But when I see it,
but execute it. It's all about execution.
It's execution, man. It's definitely execution. And so, now if you had them like on a balancing, they're fighting side by side, and then you're standing right next to her, and then you move her physically to get hit by her, something like that, I would believe that more than how they
or
did.
do like a shock death where she gets shot in the back by Bori Khan or something like that. You know what I mean? Like,
because how fast is she as the bird?
Yeah,
I don't think she's flying faster than an arrow.
Yeah,
right.
I get you.
You got to transform into it first, and then go. I don't know.
So speaking of execution, it's not a gripe, but it usually is when there's a movie like this. I want to talk about a lead woman role, and I've talked about it multiple times on podcasts. I've talked about it multiple times on SpoilerCast. I think this was the best example of giving us a lead role and showing us, not telling us, about why she deserves to be in that role. I felt like there was never a point in the movie where they had to have a scene to justify why she was equipped or eligible to be in the position that she's in. They just let her have it. I do agree that I will say that the movie had like a bias to it because of where the movie took place and the culture it took place in. That kind of helped it to where they didn't have to say like, well, she deserves to be a woman in power, like with everything and, no women allowed in the military and that kind of stuff. It was already kind of taboo, but they just like, they did such a good job at it. And I was like, this is how you do it. If you're going to put a woman in the lead role, do it like this. So from now on, can everybody please follow that example and just show us and not tell us? Rant over.
Well said. Point taken.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Also, can I backtrack for a second too?
Go for it.
Because Steven, you mentioned you asked us rather what was our favorite scenes, and I want to bring up another something else I just thought of, and I want to bring this one up because it was so heroic. It's like what you want your superheroes to be like, right? So you remember when they found out she was a girl, and Donnie Yen's character, the general, he was like, "Yeah, leave, but the next time I see you, if you come back, I'm gonna kill you," basically.
Yeah. And
so she find out what was going on with the Emperor, right. And she comes back anyway, emotional, like, dude, I know, do whatever you have to do, but just listen to me. We gotta save the Emperor.
Yeah, she even says like, "Kill me if you must, but hear what I say first."
Right.
And she even gets on her knees, like she's gonna like she's ready go ahead and kill me. Yeah. But that was awesome.
That was an awesome part right there.
Yeah. Well done. Well, I think, is there anything else that we can
there is something else. There's a couple other things that were kind of weird to me. I mean, the movie, we expected Mulan to be like this big blockbuster film. It's supposed to be the first big blockbuster of the year, right?
Yeah.
It didn't feel that way to me, though. It didn't feel, I kind of looked at it and was like, where did your budget go? Because it felt like even like their locations kind of felt contained.
Yep.
Like it was like in like mock stages, like they built their sets and possibly some of it in like sound stages and stuff like that. So it seemed weird. It didn't seem like real actual places. There was one shot though with the palace. I think in the beginning there's somebody descending the stairs of like a temple.
Oh yeah, that was a really cool shot too.
That was a really cool shot
because you didn't know like if it was stairs and that the shadow was playing with it. Like that was really good. It was really well done.
Good. Yeah, that was a good shot. But yeah, otherwise, it didn't feel big. It didn't feel grandiose. It felt like a contained movie, and it was kind of weird. So I don't know if
I very much got a 300 vibe from it. Like
I can see that
of the like contained spaces.
Like contained space. Like, yeah.
It felt like it was like, we're going to shoot this scene, and then we're going to turn the camera and not show that set, and we're going to show this set.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, it didn't feel like it was out, like, in the open, like in a desert or
Exactly.
I definitely felt the 300 look when they came out to the battlefield with
Right.
all the dead soldiers and stuff. I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
what movie am I watching?
Yeah.
What did it change? It felt cool. I mean, I don't get me wrong. I love 300, and it felt cool. So
You're like Zack Snyder?
let's go. Well, okay. So was there anything else you said that grandiose? Laugh at grandiose.
If there was something else I forgot.
Okay.
But, it didn't feel grandiose.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Contained.
I agree with that. It didn't feel like a crazy blockbuster, but it was good. I liked it. So let's give our ratings, and then we'll wrap it up.
All right. Let's do
Let's
it.
go first. Mick.
Well. I probably give this movie. I probably give it a 7.5, 8, 7.5. I give it a 7.5.
Okay.
Mom's
Jason?
favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Mick, you're pretty much on point with that. I felt like it was a really good movie. I think it was done well. I mean, no actors really stood out to me as being horrible.
No.
But I think everybody pretty much done what they need to do. It just felt contained and didn't feel Disney-esque, which is kind of good, kind of bad at the same time to me. But I think you're spot on. I'm actually go with the higher version. I'm going to say that it's an 8 for me.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So I really did love this movie. I would watch it again in a heartbeat. I just haven't had a chance to. It was fun in a different kind of fun way. The action was really great. The cinematography was good. They had some like my favorite part was because of a shot that they used. I liked that it was different. I liked that it felt familiar but wasn't familiar. So yeah, I am gonna give it a 7. No, 7.5. I'm gonna give it a 7.5 as well.
All right, and there you have it.
There you have it. So whatever that is, whatever those scores are.
7.775.
7.775. 7.5. Not 2. We're just 1. We're
point.
not math gurus. We don't do
Right.
math. We
I'm not that human.
rate
calculator.
movies. That's it. That's all you need.
Yeah.
So cool. Well, what do you think of Mulan? Tell us in the comments. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Do you feel like it's getting the deserved reviews that it's getting? Because they're bad. What people are saying about it, and I don't see how. So this has been an episode of the Geek Retreat SpoilerCast. If you want more of this, we have some more on our YouTube page. Go check it out. We've done other movies like The Gentleman and Ford versus Ferrari and Uncut Gems and loads more. And there are more in the pipeline as new movies release. We also have a podcast that we do. It's a little longer format than this. We kind of talk about video games and movies and TV and yada, yada, yada. So that comes out every Monday. You can catch that too on our YouTube page or on iTunes or Spotify or Google Podcasts, wherever you want to get your podcast fix from. We're gonna be there. I think that's it.
That's all.
I hope you have a great day. Let us know what you thought of the movie in the comments below. And
You've just been spoiled.
Ooh, yeah. There it is. Have a good week. We'll see you guys next time.